My name is Joaquin Torres. I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Workforce Development for Mayor Breed, and I am very excited tonight to kick off our first award, which is going to be our Hall of Fame recipients for tonight. And so I would like to welcome to the stage those recipients. The son and daughter to the late Joe Boss, Tom Boss, and Cristina Del Villar, and their friends Charmaine Curtis and J.P. Epler. Many of our neighborhoods have been forever changed for the better by fellow San Franciscans who are no longer with us. This NEN Hall of Fame award acknowledges those leaders and their contributions that continue to positively impact our collective lives on a daily basis. And Joe Boss was one such community leader. Also joining us tonight are our supervisors, newly elected supervisors for District 6, Matt Haney, and our newly elected district supervisor for District 10, Supervisor Shaman Walton. And I believe that we also have representatives from Assemblymember Chu's office in the House, thank you. And Assemblymember Phil Ting's office in the House. And the one that I actually have here, Mr. McDonald from Senator Wiener's office. So I want to invite our electeds to come up and say just a few words before we begin with the award. So I will, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Torres. Again, I just want to congratulate all the awardees tonight and let you know that the certificate of honor that we have for Mr. Boss says, for decades, Joe Boss advocated and organized on a broad range of issues, particularly in the area of land use, and was an active member of countless neighborhood organizations and advisory committees. His legacy of myriad contributions to the community are deeply felt and will not be forgotten.
Good evening, everyone. I also want to congratulate all of the honorees and want to congratulate the family of Mr. Joe Boss and to thank them. I also have a certificate for the family for his exemplary commitment to advocacy on behalf of his community in the southeastern part of the city, and for his contributions to the Dogpatch Historic District, San Francisco Port Advisory Groups, Eastern Neighborhood Citizens Advisory Committee, Bayview Historical Society, Potrero Dogpatch Merchants Association, and the many, many more organizations and committees he dedicated his time to. We wish to honor the memory of Joe Boss for the incredible gifts he gave the city of San Francisco.
And now we would like to present, please, from Senator Wiener's office.
Good evening, thank you. Again, my name is Michael McDonald, and it's a true privilege and an honor tonight to be here on behalf of State Senator Scott Wiener. Tonight I have with me a special Senate and Assembly resolution presented on behalf of the California Legislature to the family, and I'll go ahead and just read a little snippet here. Whereas, as a public-spirited person of formidable expertise and abiding good humor, Joe Boss contributed to many San Francisco development efforts in public interest, and at the time of his passing in December of 2017, he left to cherish his memory, his wife, Janet, his children, Tom and Christina, his granddaughter Beatrice, his mother Marie, his sisters Judy and Nikki, and countless fellow San Franciscans who benefited from his good works and goodwill. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Senator Scott Wiener, Assembly Members David Chu and Assemblymember Ting, that the exemplary life of Joe Boss and his illustrious record of community-focused accomplishments in San Francisco be commended, and that his legacy serve as an inspiration for the present and future generations of Californians. Thank you.
And if we could have the Hall of Fame award. And to Tom and Christina, who are accepting it. Thank you so much. And please, a round of applause, please.
Good evening, everyone. I think this is probably better. My name is Charmaine Curtis, and Joe's wife, Janet, asked me to come say a few words about Joe tonight, which I am extremely honored to do. Joe was a friend, he was a colleague, and early on in my career as a residential developer, he was sometimes an adversary. But as I migrated back to Potrero Hill over the years to work on one project or another, we kept crossing paths, and eventually we became really great friends. We often had breakfast or lunch at Just For You on 22nd Street, which is a great restaurant. If you haven't been there, you should go. And it was really like Joe's second unofficial office. Joe was a brilliant guy. Sorry, I still get choked up talking about Joe. And he was someone who operated from a place of love. Joe was the real deal. He had the ability to see through all of the noise to an end result that could work for a developer, serve the city's greater goals, but that would also benefit Dogpatch and Potrero Hill, which were two neighborhoods that he so very dearly loved. Joe was a master of finding the win-win because he could see over, around, under, and through what could seem like intractable differences between neighborhood residents and developers. He is the only person I have ever known who could walk the fine line of working with developers to navigate and address legitimate neighborhood concerns while wearing the hat of a legitimate community activist. He helped developers to conceive and achieve much better projects than they could have without his brain in the mix, and he did that on a lot of projects. Joe once said how important it is to educate and not just placate people. That statement distills so much of what community engagement should be all about, and it's a lesson that Joe passed on to me and to many other people who he worked with over the years. He was one of a kind, and he's truly missed.
Hi there, I'm J.R. Epler, president of Potrero Boosters, one of those organizations that Joe did so much with. And Joe was a great community advocate. When he moved into the dog patch in 1984, no one visited Potrero Hill and no one knew where the dog patch is. Now the dog patch is getting write-ups in the New York Times, having almost displaced the mission as the cool neighborhood in the city. There's not a change on the Southeast waterfront that doesn't have Joe's fingerprints on it. And it's because he knew how to negotiate. He knew how to look into projects and find that thing that would help not just that project, but the rest of the neighbors in the neighborhood, the people that were already there. And he also knew what wasn't negotiable. And so when it came to something like a polluting power plant, he knew how to organize and how to get that thing shut down. And now that's going to be a housing project. And God, I wish Joe were here to help us negotiate that one too. But more than all of that, he was just a great neighbor. He's the sort of guy that would come over to your house, notice that you had a broken doorknob, take it home, drill out the screw, fix it, bring back the screw, reinstall it. He'd show up at things that he had, no agenda at, just to be there because he loved his community. And that community went from Dogpatch to the Hill, from the north side, from the $1 million homes to the public housing, to Mission Bay to the Bayview, because he understood that, neighborhood borders are fungible things, and what mattered is the greater part of the community. And so I know that Joe's family really appreciates this award, and I think everyone that worked with Joe really appreciates this award as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all very, very much. Another round of applause,
Yes,
everyone.
congratulations.